In this lesson, we're going to look at using the XREF dialog to manage our XREF objects. Open the file housexrefnestingfinal.max. This is the scene with all of our foliage, apples, and our house. Open up the XREF objects dialog and we can see the scenes that are XREF'd into this scene. We have our trees as well as our apples. We can create an XREF record from file, which we've already done to bring these scenes in. Next to that, you can delete these records if you like. To the right of that, we can refresh our XREF scene. You can merge into the scene the XREF objects, or you can convert a selected object to XREFs. You can also combine some XREF records. If we had other objects referenced into this scene, we could combine them together. You can select objects depending on the XREF record. So we'll select the apples and click on select, and all the objects that are XREF'd from that record are selected in the scene. If you select the trees, because they're nested, everything will be selected. You can also select by name, and you see everything will be highlighted from that scene. You can also highlight the selected objects in the XREF record. So if we click on that, you see that it shows below the information on those objects, and it will select them. We can also enable and disable the XREFs, or include all the objects in the file, and force automatic updates from these files. We have the modifiers behaviors that we checked earlier for XREFing modifiers or merging them. You can also merge manipulators. If your scene has manipulators that are wired into certain modifiers, you can XREF them in as well. You can also merge the materials. All of these options are to be set when you create the XREF record. In the lower part of the dialog, we have some tools to have a better view of the objects being XREF'd. In this case, we could add objects from the file. This one happens to be nested, so we can't add objects from this file. We need to add objects from the parent file, and if we click for this one, we have all of the objects that are in this file, so we can't add any objects from there. We also have the ability to delete objects. You can select an object and just delete it from the scene. You can merge the object into the scene, whatever objects you have selected, and there are filters for displaying only the materials or only the objects. To the right we have the same options as we do in the top. Any ones that we have selected here we can select in the scene, and then we can choose to select by name if we like. So click on select them by name, and you'll see the select objects dialog comes up, and you can choose select if you like. We have the highlight here, so you can select an object in the scene and it will be highlighted over in the bottom portion. Basically, the XREF objects dialog allows you to manage your XREF's objects as well as scene in one handy dialog. We also have a right-click menu which has all of these commands as well as some additional commands. If we right-click on the Apple Final file and go to File, we can choose Reveal in Explorer, and that will pop up Explorer so that you can see where that scene is housed on your hard drive. You can also merge them into the scene or convert them from selected objects. Let's say that we want to merge the trees into the scene, so we select the trees, and merge into scene. We're going to prompt and we'll choose yes. And from here, you can see when we select this tree, it's no longer an XREF object, but a parametric object that we can change anything we like on. So now those trees are no longer in the XREF's list because they're now separate objects in the scene. We can bring them back into another scene that will XREF into here. So all we have to do is say convert selected objects. We'll select all of our trees and go ahead and click on convert. Here we're going to save that file out as XREF's test, and you see that is brought in as a standalone file that's XREF'd into our master file, and it has all the trees in it. They're no longer in the other XREF record that was nested, but now in this file that we just brought in and saved. It's very easy to adjust, modify, and change your XREF files and objects in this new XREF Objects dialog.